If you're behind on mortgage payments, or you've received a notice from your lender, I want to start by saying this video isn't here to scare you, rush you, or sell you anything. It's here to help you understand what's actually happening. Because most people don't lose options because of foreclosure itself. They lose options because of confusion and delay. Foreclosure isn't a single moment where everything suddenly ends. It's a process, and where you are in that process changes what choices you actually have. A lot of the information online makes it sound like foreclosure is a ticking time bomb. Miss a payment, then boom, you lose your house. That's not how it works. Pre-foreclosure simply means the lender has started the legal process after missed payments. It's a warning phase, not an eviction notice. You usually still own the home. You still have rights, and you still have time. But that time isn't unlimited, and what you do during it matters more than people realize. One of the biggest mistakes homeowners make is assuming they only have one option. They either think they must catch up immediately, or they assume foreclosure is inevitable and shut down. In reality, there are usually a few real paths, and the right one depends on equity, payment amount, interest rate, condition of the house, and how much stress you're under right now. Two people in pre-foreclosure can be in completely different situations, even if they're only a few streets apart. Sometimes the best outcome is staying in the home. If the numbers make sense, catching up payments or restructuring the loan can be the right move. That path isn't always available, and it's not always realistic, but it exists. It's important to know it's an option without assuming it's the only one. Staying doesn't mean you've failed if you can't make it work. And leaving doesn't mean you've given up. They're just different outcomes. Another path is selling the property with speed. This is where people get uncomfortable because they hear cash sale and assume something shady is happening. The reality is much simpler. Speed trades price for certainty. When a home is sold quickly and as is, the buyer is taking on repairs, risk, holding costs, and the pressure of the timeline. That's why the price is lower. It's not punishment, and it's not manipulation. It's a math problem. For some homeowners, removing the stress, stopping the process, and closing quickly is worth that trade-off. For others, it's not. Both decisions are valid. There's also a payment-based exit that some people don't know exists. In certain situations, especially when equity is low but the loan terms are favorable, the loan itself can be part of the solution. This only works in specific cases, and only when everyone involved understands the risks and structure. It's not a magic fix, and it's not for everyone, but it's another example of why understanding options early matters. The earlier you look at paths like this, the more flexibility exists. Where people get stuck is waiting without clarity. They tell themselves they'll deal with it next month, or after one more letter, or once things calm down. But waiting doesn't freeze the process. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not. Doing nothing is still a decision. It's just not a controlled one. The goal isn't to rush into action. It's to make sure that when you do act, you're choosing instead of reacting. There's also a lot of shame tied to pre-foreclosure, and there shouldn't be. Job changes, medical issues, family problems, and timing all play a role. Being in this position doesn't mean you were irresponsible or careless. It means something changed. The worst thing you can do is isolate yourself or assume you're out of options when you're not. The most important thing to understand is that clarity reduces fear. When you know what stage you're in and what paths actually exist, the situation becomes manageable. Even if none of the options feel perfect, knowing them gives you control. And control is what most people are really looking for in moments like this. My focus is always on explaining options, not pushing outcomes. Sometimes selling is the right move. Sometimes restructuring makes sense. Sometimes the smartest decision is to pause, gather information, and do nothing yet. The key is understanding before the process forces your hand. When you have clarity, decisions feel lighter. And no matter which path you take, you're moving forward intentionally instead of out of fear.